All right, time for another episode here, another edition of Survive and Thrive with CH Insurance and our pal Joe Convertino Jr. and his special guest. It's Gomez and Lisa. And Joe, say hi and let's introduce your guest this week.
Good morning, Gomez and Lisa. But question before we introduce Randy, where's Lisa, Gomez? Why isn't she next to you?
We are testing new equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it works.
Yeah, it does. Well, you know, this is one of those things we're all getting better at. Zoom meetings and some of the technology that we maybe 6 weeks ago had never heard of, let alone figured out how to use and getting better at.
Perfect. So
that in mind, Joe, let's meet this week's guest in Survive and Thrive.
Well, I don't know if this guy needs an introduction. Pretty well known in the downtown community, Syracuse area. Good friend of CH Insurance and mine and Galaxy's. Randy Sabourin, welcome. He has his fitness center downtown Fayetteville. I've been a part of Metro since 2015 with the Metro 42. I know the Galaxy team, and I'm sure Gomez will get into that a little later. But welcome, Randy. We thought we should have you on. We're hoping things get open soon, and I teased you off the air saying, you know, you're probably sick of doing these, but thank you for coming on, and we appreciate everything you do to fight for members. So welcome.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe, and thanks for having me on, Gomez and Lisa.
Sure.
Good. So I guess the first question, Randy, first of all, how you been? Hope the family's safe and healthy, and I think you have said that, but how's the team doing down there? We know you're closed. We know that. Let's get into some positives and where you're at in these certain phases coming out and when we can expect some hopeful workouts.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing, you mentioned Zoom meetings, and that was a little challenging for me with the technology, but we had to embrace it. And we've been doing weekly Zoom meetings with the team. Everybody's been logging on and keeping things positive. We're all excited and anxious to get back with our clients and our community. And we've been talking strategies, and obviously I've been studying the guidelines and keeping abreast with our industry, because there's a lot of industry-specific webinars about reopening, and everybody's in a different phase all over the country, right? Even though the federal government has come out with standards, and they even had gyms in phase 1. But New York State is, we're governed by our state officials and our county and local officials, who locally have been great and very supportive and receptive to my questions, which I've had a lot of, because of there's just a lot of vagueness in between the lines of these phases.
Right. What's the biggest question you've heard? I mean, you said, what's that underlying question that either the state or you've heard for your industry?
Well, Joe, my history, we're a hybrid boutique health club with a foundation in personal training and weight loss solutions. So, we're guilty by association in that we're lumped in with our code. When you put that into the government website, it puts us out as a fitness, recreation, and sports center. Well, that's phase 4. So we are planning to move forward in phase 2 with personal training. And that's really our foundation and that's the biggest part of our business. And we feel that we filled out the reopening safety plan, with the Department of Health. We've got all the social distancing signage. We've invested in disinfecting equipment. Our staff will be wearing masks. We'll be doing, I just got my temperature checker here in the mail today. We'll be doing that at the lobby. We'll be, and at most you're going to have 6 people in the club. We're going to limit it to 3 trainers and 3 clients. We have 13,000 square feet. We're only doing it at one club. We're not going to try to launch both places at the same time. And I'm hopeful that we'll be okay for that. I'm in contact every day with our local county officials to just get their blessing for allowing us to do this on Monday.
Hey,
Randy, can you meet clients outside? Will you be able to sort of say, hey, let's take this workout outside. Let's do some push-ups in the park and maybe take a few laps, that sort of thing?
Lisa, that's a great question. And I think it all comes down to the appropriate social distancing. And we feel that we can do that inside of our health club and give the member access to equipment. And I think that's what's missing. We're doing some virtual training. and that's been somewhat successful, but clients don't have the access at home to the equipment. We've invested, thousands and thousands of dollars into very sophisticated equipment to help people really get a great workout. And without access to it, there's only so much you can do with a jug of milk, a broomstick, and a chair. And,
Yeah.
so the equipment is really the missing piece. And we feel that we can set it up with areas that can be disinfected when one trainer is done in that area and allow another trainer to go in. It'll be the trainer's responsibility. But we also have a misting machine that will close the club periodically and disinfect. We've done everything, a combination of our industry standards with recommendations from the county to be ready to go Monday.
Well, I know, Randy, as you're saying, it's kind of a gray area with some of the definitions and descriptions. And this, from my view, fitness clubs in general are a preventative as far as I'm concerned. If you go and you're a member and you're training and you're working out and you're healthy, then that's good for everybody. And I would consider, again, this is me talking, that a fitness center would be considered, I think, more essential than some of the businesses that were deemed essential just to keep people healthy. And as we're finding out, the healthier that you are during this particular pandemic with the coronavirus, the more you can fend off the virus when it comes. It seems to me that the people who are affected the most and have the worst reactions are the people who are older and people who aren't in the best physical condition. So I think that you guys should have been open the whole time.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. It's underlying medical conditions, people with health risks. They're going to need to stay, away from groups of people for, a period forward here. But certainly I feel we're more essential than casinos and a lot of other businesses that have been given the green light. And obesity, mental health. I've got a client that reached out that actually contracted COVID because her husband was in the hospital in Florida. She went, put herself self-quarantined 5 days and basically was in bed. And by the time she went in the hospital, she ended up on a ventilator. I did a little research. I'm actually recertifying my medical exercise certification this time because I want to go back out on the floor 2 days a week and work with special populations like I did for 15 years at the hospital. But anyways, she almost died. And it's a respiratory virus. And the big complication is pneumonia. And being unhealthy, being obese, and having poor health habits is going to make you more at risk for this and then the onset of pneumonia. And what they said, the study I read said, even if you don't feel like it, and if you've contracted COVID, you got to move. You got to keep your lungs functioning. You got to walk. You got to breathe. Extra breathing exercises. I put it on my LinkedIn page. It was a pretty interesting article, and they studied it, and they did 16 COVID patients. Not one of them contracted pneumonia.
There you go. All the more reason to get down there when you guys are allowed to officially open up and start bringing people in. And whether it's at the Metro Fitness or other places that I've been, it seems to me for the most part, people have always done a pretty good job of wiping down and spraying where they just worked out anyway.
Yeah, and we're a small community. We're not a low price, high volume experience. That's going to be a little bit more challenging because they survive on volume. We don't have that kind of volume. We'll still have to unplug certain machines to avoid the temptation to get right on that cardio equipment next to each other. So there's going to be some social distancing challenges with a lot of the gyms, but it certainly can be done. And I think, the industry is responsible, and, we've got a good local group of, health club owners in this area. And I think you give them a chance and they'll all set up the right environment for their members to be successful.
Randy, is there equipment to disinfect the gym that you didn't even know existed? You talked about misters. I have never heard of a mister disinfecting a gym like that.
Yeah, that's a good, no, I had never heard of it either, Lisa. And to this point, we had relied on, we have the hands, the wipes, get off a piece, you pull a wipe. We certainly have spray bottles. We have hand sanitizer stations around the gym. So my concern, and, I have Department of Health clients, so, leaning on them a little bit, wiping and moving the same rag around, you could be just moving the virus around. So we started looking into ways that we could quickly and efficiently disinfect. So I started looking at a lot of these companies, cleaning companies, quickly reinvented themselves and basically converted pump sprayers and foggers into some sort of machine that could apply disinfecting chemical. Well, we went through our cleaning company, the company we use, and we already have a disinfecting chemical that's rated to kill COVID. So we just needed a distribution device. So it's a backpack powered by a battery sprayer with 2 nozzles. One is a misting. You just spray and let it dry. And the other is a kind of a mop without the sponge. It spins, and you can do all the hard surfaces. So we figure we can shut the club down 30-minute intervals periodically to disinfect and go through the whole club.
That's
Pretty
interesting.
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Randy,
mean, it's more money
awesome.
too, and we all got PPP and all that, but here we are with no income really coming in. We have some members still supporting the club and paying their dues, but there's investments that we're making to prepare to reopen as well as bringing in, getting employees ready to come back.
Randy, what about
Randy,
the
oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say, Randy, do you have loss of business insurance? Because I know that some businesses did have that.
No, Joe can chime in on that. I certainly asked him. I've certainly felt that there was.
Lisa,
but,
you know that answer, Lisa. We talked about it for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We were fortunate to get the PPP.
Yeah,
funding,
but on an insurance standpoint, Lee, seriously, bacteria and viruses have all been excluded on everybody's policy to include ours. So it's been a tough time. The federal level is looking at all of that. But right now, we've put in claims. Randy's put in a claim just in case there's a decision later. So Randy, what I was going to get to, a lot of people miss your group training. I'm a pack guy, 8-10 people in there swinging the hammer, running stairs, doing the ropes. Where do you see that, and could that happen? I mean, I'd be a guy that would wear a mask if I could do pack training. But I know
Joe, that's one of the concerns in the industry, and it might be why we're in phase 4. It's the PPE requirements that have been pushed out. And, my personal feeling is I run and bike every morning, and I can't imagine doing that wearing a mask. I don't think that it's safe for your cardiovascular system. It's going to impede and compromise your breathing. Gomez, you run. I mean, can you imagine a mask?
No.
I'm going to have my staff wear them, but we're going to do temperature checks on clients. I just don't think it's safe for them to be exercising with a mask. I think it's going to compromise your breathing. I don't want anybody to have a cardio event, in the club because of the restrictions.
So that could happen over time as we keep moving through the summer, where maybe 3 people could be in a class.
Yeah, we broke our opening up into 4, our own set of phases. So we have our phase 1, which is personal training only by appointment with a controlled number. With that being successful, we'll go ahead and allow for more training with more clients and trainers in at the same time. And then even when we go to allowing independent access, it's going to be by appointment. Most gyms are setting up an app so that their members can access and see what times are available for them to come in and get an independent workout in. So that controls the amount of volume in the gym at any given time. And I think that's ultimately what we need to do, is just maintain the social distancing and allow for a controlled amount of people in the gym or in a class. There's no reason we can't go back to classes. It's just going to be a matter of how many can be in a studio at a time and with safe social distance.
Well, I know, Randy, a lot of people have been worried about the COVID-15, putting on some pounds there. Is there home and unable to maybe get to a fitness center? Or for a while, we had a very cold spring. As you know, it was every day. It seemed like it was cold and windy and hard to get outside to walk or run or anything. But when you're allowed to, and when you can do that, will people be able to take advantage of the classes and the Metro 42? And I can speak to it. I know it works. I started in January, I want to get back in a decent running shape. And then I went to Metro and took part in that program, and start to finish up to now. And I've been running. I'm down almost 30 pounds since like January 1st.
Wow.
I noticed right away when I saw you, Gomez, and that's always one of my concerns, even with Joe, because Joe's an alumni of the program. You know, people weight kind of goes up and down. You mentioned the COVID-15. My wife told me I've lost almost 20 pounds myself because I'm working out like 3 times a day. And my wife said this is a period where people are either going to become a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk. And I got, you know, and we are going to do some programming again. I'd love to do a summer slim down. And I think, you know, there's a way that just the way we're doing this Zoom call, we can do a coaching call and have as many people on it safely. And then we can do either the training is one-on-one or a real small group, but we certainly can have an outcome base. You know, people, you're right. People want to get back and lose weight and get healthy again. It's not all weight loss. We have people sign up for the program that just need a good reboot. And, you know, we're trying to figure out how we could do it. I was telling Joe, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I mean, we just started discussing it yesterday, but, you know, we've done Wellness Wednesdays for years in Clinton Square. And I reached out yesterday to our health department, our Parks and Rec, and I said, why can't we do sunrise yoga with social distancing? And Joe and I were talking about it off the air. Let's get people, you know, back in the community and doing something healthy. We just give them 6 feet apart. The commissioner thinks it's a good idea, so we're going to go ahead and see what the health department thinks and see if we can't set up. Now, this is down the road in July. Maybe we can do 4 Wednesdays in July just to get.
Even if we had to go, we talked about, even if it was 10 feet apart, there's so much room up there.
Well, the commissioner even mentioned if we had to close down.
If you're doing yoga, you need the room anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Randy knows I love yoga.
I think I got a video I can share with this.
Yoga.
I know. Randy,
yoga, Lisa?
Would you say?
I love doing yoga. I don't do it nearly enough, but if I could find, I couldn't find a noon class. Noon is a tough time to do yoga. It's either at night or in the morning, and you know our schedule is different than most people. But noon, Gomez knows he's running at noon. I'm not a runner.
I think we have a noon class at least once a
Gomez
week.
could show up with us. We're there. He does noon and I think 6:30.
He could do yoga.
Right.
That's right, Gomez. We had an early one too. You know, Lisa, we also are the only club in Central New York with a virtual kiosk that allows our members the independent access to group fitness classes. And that may sound confusing, but we don't have the volume to have a lot of instructor-led classes at our downtown club. So we invested in a kiosk that is connected to the internet, and our members have access to over 500 channels. You pick a genre that appeals to you. Let's say it's yoga. You come in at noon. You got the studio all to yourself. A 120-inch screen comes down, and your class is projected right on the screen. It's not an instructor live, but it is. You pick a genre. You pick an intensity. Joe, you've seen it.
Yep.
Spinning, boot camp, HIIT, yoga, TRX.
I like
that. So that fills the void for us.
So Randy, earlier we'll end here soon. Earlier, you mentioned you're going to go back to the floor, meaning you personally. I think that's awesome. I don't know if that's because you just missed the training or you want to show your leadership or get back active in what you do well. What made you make that decision?
I think as a business owner, that's been mandated to be closed. I've had a lot of time to reflect on where I am. This is my 25th year in business, and I opened up a second location in Fayetteville 4.5 years ago. That's when I took myself off the floor, and that's when I also began to gain weight and be a little less healthy myself. And I spend, a lot of time in front of the computer, a lot of time, not enough time taking care of myself. So the fact that I've been so active in this downtime and realizing that where I really am most comfortable, is a few days on the floor. And that's what I started the business with. That's really my passion, is helping people and see through the process and be involved with it, not just, coaching the trainers. And, I'm renewing the medical exercise part of my certification because I think that the boomers, that's really a big community that we service. And, talk about musculoskeletal and orthopedic dysfunction. And we're being introduced to new medications that are changing the way we can exercise. And these are all things that I learned when I had my hospital-based facility, and I worked with the post-rehab clients in the outpatient physical therapy department. And I had my downtown studio. So 15 years of doing that, you know, you certainly learn a lot. And I know that there's not anybody that I know of that really focuses on the post-rehab and the injury specifics of exercise.
Right. Do you think you'd be able to handle me and Gomez though? You know, I mean,
Joe, I'm not going after the aesthetic client like you know, that just wants to look at themselves in the mirror all day. You know, I'm looking for, you know, I'd rather train the grandmother or the grandfather that just wants to be a little more active and be with their, you know, so they can keep up with their grandchildren, feel better, a little less pain. There's just the maintenance and training you, Joe. It's just, that's going to be, you may burn me right out. I'll be out again.
I just set myself up. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I always do that.
Well, you like the energy of a group, Joe. I've tried to get you to work one-on-one, but I think
I know
your personality.
We're going to get Lisa into those packed classes. Lisa, you love them.
No,
They're good classes.
no.
They're
Yes,
great
I'm a
please.
one-on-one girl. No,
Are you?
I'm a one-on-one girl.
Okay.
I'm a one-on-one girl. You know what? It's funny. I'm shy in the gym. I know you're not shy, but I'm shy. No, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to look at anybody. I want to go away. I'm like this. I get uncomfortable. Like, don't look at me.
Right. You think someone's like looking at you working out?
No, I'm a one-on-one girl. That's my
right.
happy place. So I
It's not unusual. Everybody.
What about you, Gomez? What about you, buddy? What do you like to train?
Back guy.
Group
I
or
like-
individual?
I like the classes, you know, the pack training or you know, 18, 10, however many people in, you know, like the 42 classes where the hour goes by quick. It's, you know, every 2 minutes you're on something new, and then before you know it, the hour's over. So to me, I like that. And then everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's real supportive of each other, and that helps a lot. So I prefer that style. But at Metro Fitness, you can do any one of those because it's a full service spot.
Yeah, and I should also mention, you know, another area that we've recently really tapped into that I think is going to be very important, and Joe knows this because I've worked with his team, is corporate wellness. And, you know, as we bring our employees back to offices, and, you know, a lot of them, you know, may not even they may be very happy working from home, but others, you know, you need that social time together. But, you know, how do we make that a healthy place and safe? You know, regardless of the guidelines of what you have to do with social distancing. You know, this is a great time to bring in people to talk about wellness and health, maybe do an on-site yoga class or something to get your team working together. We do, with Joe brings his team in annually for a 6-week program. So we exclusively have a studio just for his employees to exercise together with the trainer.
Yeah, it's fun. So what's happening, Lisa and Gomez, out there in the corporate world, big business, small business, you know, you hear the term wellness. Well, it could be through health insurance. It helps workers' comp, right? Injury on the job, off the job, helps group health insurance rates. So it's becoming a big buzzword, just like telemedicine. I mean, what we're doing right now is telemedicine, right? Hey, Randy, how do I lose weight?
Right.
This is all becoming so important as we move forward in the new way. So great job, Randy. And we want to wish you happy 25th this year. You'll never forget this
What a year to celebrate.
Okay?
Good for you, Randy.
But we can't wait for the party, Randy.
November.
That's the truth.
November. Okay.
All right, good deal. Joe Convertino Jr. and CH Insurance and Survive and Thrive. Randy Sabourin from Metro Fitness website. Randy, for the people who are watching this and listening and may want to get involved when they're able to.
Sure. And that's where we're posting all of our updates about opening and all of our communications with our members. So it's getmetrofit.com. And we also, obviously, just like CH and Galaxy, we're posting on our social media channels, you know, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So
good job.
Right. Hey, stay
great.
safe.
Well,
Thanks
thanks
for
for having me.
Yep, we'll see you downtown
Thanks,
here
Randy.
soon.
Thanks, Randy.
You're welcome.